Hello everyone, it's Pam from GlamJunkJournals. Thank you for being here with me today. Today we are going to do a really fun tutorial. We are going to be making mini file folder booklets. Yay! They're so fun and so versatile. First off, though, I did want to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in today and being with me, for being a returning subscriber or perhaps a new subscriber. I really appreciate you guys so much. So I am super excited because I created this the other day and I just had to share it with you. And as you guys know, I am going on a junk journal retreat in a couple days, so I'm happy that I was able to get in one more tutorial before I leave. I am just over the moon excited about going on this. It's going to be so much fun. There's going to be like 50 other ladies who all have the same passion as I do for junk journaling and everything that goes along with it. So I can't wait for that and to share my experience with you guys when I get back. So this is going to be my design team project for Lydia of Raindrop, Lila. And for the current journal that I'm working on, I am using the absolutely beautiful kit, the Felicity Wallpaper collection. And this collection, as I spoke about in the last tutorial we did, is just gorgeous. There's so many vibrant vintage florals, beautiful colors. I can't say enough good things about it. So I will put a link to Raindrop Lila's Etsy shop in the description box. So like I said, we are creating mini file folder booklets. So in one of Lydia's add-on kits, she has file folders and tags, and I specifically am focusing on the file folders. They're pre-formatted, and let me show you a couple that I've printed here. Now these are full page. So when you go to the digital kit, this is the full page image, and I have cut it down. And let me show you another one. They're just beautiful. I love these. And what I did do is I printed on both sides of this piece of paper. This is a 48-pound cardstock. It's a little bit heavier weight, and I think that works best for this project because it's a little more sturdy, but it's not too thick. So that's what I would print these file folders out on, is a heavier piece of paper, more of a cardstock. So like I said, I printed two of them, and I did print on both sides. Now this digital is from Raindrop Lila's French and Antique Documents. I just love that. And this one I got from the Graphics Fairy premium website, and it's called Sheet Music Lovely Flowers, if you wanted to go look that up on the premium membership. I just thought that was perfect. How much more perfect could that be for the journal that I'm working on? So like I said, two pieces of the file folder digital, and we're just going to create this. So let me deconstruct what I put together here. So I've got some tags and some bits of ephemera on the front, and I've got a little pocket right along here, and I've got a tuck at the top here, and it opens up, and got some journaling pages on the interior, and on the back side there is another tuck. Let me show you that. A tuck along the side here. So I'm going to take all of that out right along here, and then I've got another pocket on the bottom there that holds some more gorgeous tags. So let's just get going and create one of these. Yay! It's so fun. Oh, just love it. So after you've cut down your two file folders, what I did is I distressed around the edges, and what we're going to do is we're going to take these two and we're going to offset them, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. I want them to be offset so you can see this little, this writing on this side, and then on this side, the gorgeous print on there, that font. So we're gonna do the same thing on this one. So offsetting is like so. See, they're together like that. So I'm going to offset this just so that, you know, this shows on one side and then this shows on the other side. So what I want to do is basically just attach these together. And to hold the pages together, I'm just going to take a paper clip on both sides, and just to hold it in place here. And we're just going to fold it in half. I want to get that right in the center. Let me get out. I don't have my bone folder in front of me. Let's see, what am I going to use instead? I'll use my ruler here. Don't have my bone folder, but I'm going to get a good crease right along there. And I'm going to cut down the center. So we're going to create two different little file folders here. So I'm going to go right across the center where I have my line here. Right down the center. So we've got our two sides, like so. Whoops, sorry, I need my table. So we've got our two sides, like so, except that is what I want. I want the tuck, or the, you know, what am I trying to say? The tuck to be on the exterior. And so there is the interior. And let me get out my example. What I did is I created a fabric hinge, and we're going to do that today. Now you could also, if you didn't want to use fabric, you could use another piece of cardstock. You could use some washi tape across the center. You could use a piece of lace, whatever you wanted to do to create the hinge. And so I've got this gorgeous piece of fabric here, and I'm just going to lay that across the center here. All right, now what I want to do before I glue this down and sew it is I want to add my little pockets on both sides, and I'll show you how I did that. This is one of the same file folders from the digital file folders in the collection, and I've printed this by 5 by 7. So it's, I just shrunk it down. So this is the image 5 by 7, and I am going to just fold that in half and cut that one. So we're going to have two little mini file folders here. Let me get out my cutter again. So I hope you guys are all having a wonderful crafty day. I am always happy to be in my craft room with you guys crafting along. So now we've got two mini file folders, and these are also printed on the 48-pound cardstock. So what I want to do is think about where I've got a position here so that I know what I'm doing. So this is the front, because like I said, I want my little tucks like so. All right. And so I don't know which one I want on which side. I don't know. What do you think? I think that looks really pretty. So maybe we should just go for it, like so. What do you think? Yep, we'll do it. Okay, so I'm going to tack down these two mini file folders. And I am going to just do along one side and the bottom. I am going to line it up with the bottom of that particular file folder. So we've got a pocket right along the side right here. So that's going to be open. Let me look on my example. I also went up a little bit on the side, just so that it doesn't like flip open and get bent, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. Pick that up. So I'm going to go up on that one side and across the bottom, and then up a little bit on that side. Using my Fabri-Tac there and lining that up right across the bottom like so. So we've got two little tuck spots right along the side, or pockets, and then we've got two along this side. Now I did not do this on my example, but I thought, hey, let's add a belly band or something along the interior, which is always an optional step, but why not? That's what I think. So what was I going to use for my belly band? I don't remember. Oh, dang. Oh yeah, now I do. I'm gonna flip that over and flip this one over. And I thought we could do just a sparkly belly band right across the center there. And I still want to keep that paper clip on just so that it doesn't move around a lot, the two file folders, because they're not attached yet. So I'm going to attach this to the top and the bottom, this gorgeous piece of gold sparkly lace, and that'll be a wonderful belly band on that side. And that looks so pretty. Doesn't that look pretty, you guys? Ooh, so what all have you guys been doing? I miss being here with you. It's so much fun. Now, should I do one on this side? I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else here. Do I have anything else? I've got a little piece of paper like so. I could add a little belly band like that. Sure, why not? This is just an offcut here of some coffee dyed paper. So let's just do a belly band on that side also. I'm going to tack that down with the glue. Move that out of the way. So maybe I can just tear that. There we go. So we've got a belly band on that side, although this to me is too plain because you know me, I like to add a lot of stuff. So let's add a little strip of some fabric right along there. And this is, like I always say, this is as you go crafting. I did not, you know, I kind of have a vision of what's going to take place, but you know, it's always fun to see where your imagination and where your creativity takes you. So there's the inside of our file folder booklets. Yay! Now there's the exterior. And now this is when we're going to add our little fabric hinge right along there like that. So what I'm going to do is run a little bit, tack some Fabri-Tac on both sides. Now what I did on my example here, let me show you this. On my example, I went really close together. Let's see if I get this in the camera, meaning the two sides are very close. I did not leave a lot of extra. And that's because these papers on the interior, they're not real thick. And so I didn't have to leave a bunch of room in between when you hinge these two together. Now this one, I am going to leave a little bit more space, and I'll tell you why. This particular booklet is going to go either in a side tuck or maybe as a journal topper, something like that. But this one, I want to fold around some of my pages in my signature. And because of that, I want to leave a little more space. And I'll show you the example once we're all finished here. So I'm going to just put that down and make sure, probably since I was talking, the glue's dried. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it dried a little bit. Let me get some more. So I'm leaving not very much, but a little bit. Maybe that's a 1/4 of an inch, if that, maybe more of an 1/8 of an inch. But I'm not putting them right against each other because I want a little bit of room. Get that down, and I'll show you on the other side. There, you can see it a little better. There's a little bit of room. Let's get that down. Now what I'm going to do is tack the 2 file folders together also. On just the edges here. Okay. All right, so there is that. Now what I'm going to do is cut this top off, a little bit of extra on the top. And so there is the beginnings of our file folder booklet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew around the edges, and I'm going to leave the front, I'm going to leave this top portion open so that we can tuck something along the top, and then along the back I am going to go all the way around. Now if you don't have a sewing machine, that is no problem. I would just glue all of the sides together of your 2 file folders. So I would go along the bottom, along the top, and along the edge here. And that works perfectly fine too, is just going along there. So I'm going to stop the camera and I'll be right back, and we'll put this all together and I'll show you how fabulous it is. So hold on just a sec. All right guys, here is the basis for our file folder booklet. Look how cute this is. It's already very cute. So what I did is I sewed around the edges and I left this upper flap open, and I just tacked the top a little bit because I felt that if I left this whole file folder open, it may bend out a little bit, and I wanted it a little bit secure, but there is still enough room for our tuck. And then on the back side, I sewed all the way around the edge, so we've got a side tuck there and then a tuck right along here. And then on the interior, we've got our 2 belly bands. What we're going to do now is we're going to add our pages into this. So what I've chosen is just, I have an antique ledger, and well, antique, I guess it is. It's dated 1949, and I liked the yellow because of the color scheme that's going to be with this journal. So I've got a ledger page, I've got some gorgeous dyed paper, and then I've got some coffee dyed paper. So these are just regular 8.5 by 11 sheets, and the scale of my file folder booklet is exactly, this is very cool. All you have to do is, take your papers and have them not vertically but horizontally. We're going to fold them in half like so. And watch this. This is so easy. It's so fun. Look, they fit exactly in there. Is that cool or what? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tear ruler and I'm just going to tear off the extra here. Now we'll see if I can do all 3 sheets at once. I don't know. Let's see. I think so. Yep. Very cool. And then look at these strips. We're going to do something with a lot of these strips. I've got a whole bunch of strips, so I'm already thinking about another tutorial where we're going to have some fun with some paper strips. So I've got 3 pieces of paper, which turns out to 6 journal pages. And then I have another ledger page that was exactly the right size, and that's just luck. I mean, you know, just found it. So I'm going to stick that in there like so. And we've got our pages. And so we're going to just attach these using the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of cardstock and I've used, I'm going to use this as a template, and it's a little bit shorter than the length of my booklet, but that's okay, no problem at all. And what I'm going to do is just position my pages like so, and then right along the center, and let me get out my paper clips again. Just gonna clip that, and you probably don't even have to clip it, but I like to do that just, you know, to keep them secure. I'm gonna take my awl and just poke a hole through each of those. So I've got my holes poked in my pages, and they're just going to fit right in there. Now what I'm thinking here is, this is such a thin group of papers. Our little signature here is, I don't even think I need to poke any holes in our hinged spine here with the fabric. Number one, I don't think it's needed just because these are so thin. Number two, I don't even think I'd see the holes if I poked them in here. So we're just gonna kind of wing it here. So I'm gonna take out my template there, and I've got some embroidery floss here, and what I've done is I've measured the embroidery floss so it's 3 times, 2.5 to 3 times the length of your papers here, and that's just a good rule of thumb. You will have some extra, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the interior in the middle, and I am just going to eyeball where the center is, because with this particular setup here with the signature pages, I really don't think it's going to be an issue. And what I'm going to do is take my 2 paper clips and clip them on the exterior too, so it's holding on to the exterior of the booklet. So we're just going to poke these through. Get this going here. See, it's so smooth and so easy, and I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail there. Now this, I've got an eyeball, right? But I think I can do that, no problem here. So I am just going to go back up through, and I'm going to go right up into the page, like so, hopefully. There it is, right there. My fingers aren't working exactly right here, so hold on one second. There we go, right up in the center, like so. And then I'm going to go back through down on the top. And then I'm going to come right back up through that same hole right there. And I like the contrasting pink. Doesn't that look good? Yay, yay, yay. And I have one tail on one side of my center and one tail on the other. And I'm going to pull it taut, not too tight, but just so that it's not flopping around. And I'm going to knot it like so, and just cut off the edge. So there you have it. Now on this, you could add some dangles at the bottom. You could just do a bow in the center. On my example, what I did here in the center is I just added a sparkly piece of tulle onto the center. I really like that. So there's a whole bunch of different options that you can do with this, or you can just cut it off and leave it, you know, doesn't matter. All right, so there is our booklet, and I am going to take my ruler. Where the heck is my ruler here? I don't know. Oh, there it is. I'm going to crease that down just so that the papers fold flat. There we go. Yay, look at this. So now the fun part. Let me put my little cork on my awl, because that thing is sharp. So let's add some ephemera. Oh, look at this. This is from a photo album, and this is the actual first page inside of a vintage photo album, and it was very brittle, so I backed it onto some cardstock, and then I added some journaling space on the back. So I thought it would go somewhere in here. Let's see where it goes. Oh yeah, look at that, maybe on the back. Oh, I didn't even plan that. Look how fun. And then along the front, this is some of my my actual vintage wallpaper, and I made a tag out of it. So I thought that would be really pretty. And I wanted to show you this also. I have this from Raindrop Lila. This is her Victorian Valentine's Day cards. And I pulled those out because of the gorgeous floral images. And I thought that that would be beautiful on the front cover. You know, so all sorts of ephemera that you can put on the interior here. I've got a postcard that I thought would look beautiful, sticking right out of the top like so. Look at that. Ooh, oh man. And then along the back, I've got a postcard that's a little too big. That's not going to work. Here, let me see. What else do I have here? Oh yeah, I've got another one of the Victorian Valentines cards there. I got a Victorian calling card along the back there. And then maybe a little bit, maybe an applique on the back or an applique on the front. Oh, so much fun. I just love this. Love this. So like I said, what I wanted to do, and let me go back to my example. On my example here, I added an eyelet and tied some sari silk ribbon along the bottom. If I could talk today, we'd be in good shape. Along the bottom there, and that's a really cool idea. You could also add along the bottom, you know, a little dangle with some beads. I think that that would look really cute on there, but I'm not going to do that on this one. Let me give you some other ideas. I've got a tie closure. Now this would be really pretty just along the front. You could tie this up and just have a little journaling booklet. Look how cute this is. Oh my gosh. Look how fun that is. Just tied all together like so. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Oh, they're so fun. Oh, and I have another little spot back there that I didn't add. Oh, I didn't add something, so I need to do that. I'll have to remember to do that along the back. But what I mentioned earlier is, with this, I am going to use this one, I think, on one of my, in between some of the pages of my signature in my journal here. So here are some of the pages, and they're not, you know, finished or anything like that. But since I kept a little bit more space in between the pages there, it's going to wrap around the signature. Look How cool that is. And the reason for the space is it holds the pages of the additional signature, and it wraps around, and it doesn't get too tight, and it doesn't boing out or anything like that. Look how pretty that is. So this could be a cover for your signature. This could even be a journal cover. Oh man, and look at that. If you tie that on the side, oh my goodness, this is so fun. Oh, you guys, oh, I just love this. Ah, yay, yay. So I hope you guys love this too. How fun are these? The mini file folder booklets, all using a couple pieces of cardstock and the gorgeous digital collection Felicity from Raindrop Lila. I hope you guys try this out. And like I said, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here with me today. And I hope you go out and create some of these because they're so fun. So I will see you very soon after my retreat. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.